Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
Okay, thank you guys for tuning in online, and thank for the folks that are out here. Normally we have a bigger crowd, but it's not to me about the numbers. I'd rather be with four quarters than have 100 pennies. If they're not all like feeling the movement or whatever. But tonight I'm gonna have a very special guest. As you know, this is West Wednesday, week 527. Yeah, 527, and I wrote the date down. Give me 1 second. So I like to have it's 3,000 something. So give me 1 second, guys. I look to have that out, but I just got an interview. All right, so I'm gonna start from the top. This is week 527, day 3,689. We've been fighting not just for accountability for my big brother Tyrone West, but literally for all the victims of police brutality and murder. And tonight, like my heart is like broken because we went to the dog and pony show yesterday, but I'll talk about that foolishness after I bring my sister Queen, who literally rode almost 2 hours to get here. And this is very important. And my sister, and we're not doing this for entertainment, we're not doing this for anything. We're doing this because my sister needs us in court to show up, and the ones that can't show up to call, to write letters, because, and it's just sad like how our loved ones be murdered. And the case speaks for itself, and we always got to jump a whole mile and do everything when the whole case speaks for itself. Like literally have a man murdered, cold-bloodedly murdered, and we done talked about her family member many times on West Wednesday, but no further ado, I'm going to bring my beautiful sister Queen who's standing next to me. I'm going to pass her the mic and just let her have it. Mic check.
Mic check.
Thank you, Tawanda. Hi everyone. Thank you for letting me come here and talk to people about Wooden Green. Wooden Green is my cousin. And she was murdered in Prince George's County, Maryland, on 2020, January 27th of 2020. One thing I would like to say is that for all the people that is following West Wednesday, thank you. Thank you. And there are a lot of people out here streaming information about families that are impacted by police brutality and mistreatment by the police, by the court systems. And if you can, follow those families and watch those families, because the thing is we're trying to get you to know who our loved ones are, but we're trying to also give you information, because the biggest thing that we notice with families is that when it happens, people are present, people hear about it, but then there's that 2 months later when the families are on their own and we're fighting years later. Like, this is not something that happens to us and then, oh, it's a miracle. Like, the police are prosecuted and we're good. We are fighting for years. My cousin is a primary case. I am lucky. I have a lot of supporters. I have a lot of people who are fighting with me. We have done things that most people have not been able to do. But we are still almost 4 years later, and this cop has not been to trial. My cousin was murdered on January 27th, 2020. He was in a car accident. He was not committing a crime. He did not have warrants. He cooperated. He allowed them to take him out of his vehicle. They searched him. They handcuffed him to the back, and they sat him in the front seat of the police car. The officer went to move the car out of the street. He had it in blocking traffic, and he fired 6 shots, entered my cousin's body. He wrote a 2-line statement about what happened to my cousin. That's how long his statement was about what happened in that vehicle. 2 lines. My cousin was not the first man. My cousin was not the first victim of this man murder. My cousin was not the first person that is a victim of police brutality. This man has a string of victims. He was horrible, and he was allowed to be on the police force. This man was on workers' comp for 7 years. He was on the police force for 10 years. Seven of those years, 7 of those years, he was on workers' comp for mental reasons. And they still allowed him back onto the streets to police people. Um, we have been through hell. Like, I look at my cousin's case and it's open and shut. They arrested this man within 24 hours of murdering my cousin. He was arrested. He's been sitting in jail. This cousin's been sitting in jail since January 28th of 2020.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
So once they locked him up, our fight then became with the prosecutors. The prosecutors, I guess they thought they were going to wait us out, let him sit there for a while, then give him a plea deal. They tried to give him a plea deal a couple of times. The first time was they came to us, we told them absolutely not. We want him to go to court. We want our day in court. The second time they tried to do it without telling us.
Mm-mm.
I emailed them constantly because I watched the case online, and when it changed, I emailed them. They didn't respond. I continued to email them. I included the press. When they got wind that the press knew, they then contacted my family 2 weeks before this trial was supposed to happen. We talked to them a week before, and they told us we offered him a plea deal, and he accepted it. This man murdered my cousin. He was handcuffed. This man shot 7 shots at my cousin, 7 times. My cousin was not a threat to him. My cousin died like horribly. Like, my cousin died every morning. I think about my cousin. I loved him. We talked every day. The way this man murdered my cousin was so sweet. I loved him. Everybody loved him. The way he murdered him is like, it's something I won't ever get over. Because all I keep thinking is, what was my cousin thinking? And I know the first thing my cousin was thinking was about his mom, because he loved his mom. He did everything in the world for his mom. And I know that he was thinking about his mom and then his children. So it's hard to sit here and have to fight them to understand that this man doesn't deserve 5 years. They literally tried to give him manslaughter. 20 years to spend 10, have to serve 5. That was it. He had already been sitting in jail since 2020. So we fought it in the news. We fought it in the news. The only way we could was to get people to know, and they dropped their plea deal was rejected by the judge.
Yeah. Thank you.
So we had 1 week to get that judge to reject that plea deal, and he did it. But we shouldn't have had to go through that. That's what people don't understand. Like, that takes a toll on you. Like, I can't imagine doing this for 10 years. That takes a toll on you to see that you got to fight for the value of your loved one's life. If I would have shot somebody 6 times handcuffed in my car, I'd be sitting in prison probably for about 20 plus years. But this person did this in the simple fact that he had a badge when he did it, gives him special privileges with the court, give him special privileges with the state of Maryland, simply because he was doing it as a job. Assassinating people as your job should be a crime. Like, that's not your job. That's not your job title. That's not part of your policy, your procedure. Yet you get a pass because you have a badge, and people think you're heroes. The news and television shows paint police as heroes. They're not heroes. They very rarely stop crime. They very rarely solve crime. and they very rarely prevent crimes. They're not heroes. They're not out here like bad boys at night while we're sleeping, killing the bad guys, keeping us safe. It's just not what they think exactly. They are the bad guys. And I don't think people understand that. And people are hesitant. Like, people are hesitant. They will walk past and they will stare at us. They don't want to ask questions, but they don't understand, like, you could be next. You could be next. No one is immune to this. You could be next. I never ever thought that this would happen to me. I never thought this would happen to my cousin, man. Y'all don't understand how sweet he was. Like, y'all don't even know. My cousin was so cool and just so sweet. Like, he would do anything in the world for anybody. He did not deserve it. He did not deserve any of this. And just the shock that they did this to him is a terrible part. And what makes it harder is I saw it on the news before I went to bed. I saw the breaking news. I watched it. And I turned it off because I was like, they're going to try to cover this up. That was my first thought when I saw breaking news, police involved. And then they were like, there were two witnesses who saw a struggle. I literally said out loud, they're going to try to cover this up. And I turned it off. And I got that call in the middle of the night. And I knew, as soon as my husband woke me up, I knew exactly what happened to him. Because I watched it on the news before I went to sleep. And I immediately got an attorney. And that's the one thing I'm going to tell anybody. If you have a friend, if it's your family, if you know of a family, anybody, if this happens, get an attorney. Don't try to negotiate with the police. Don't trust the police. Don't trust anybody. You can't trust anybody when it comes to this. Get representation. Get answers. If you want answers, get answers. People told me not to get a lawyer because they didn't want they didn't feel like a lawsuit, a civil lawsuit. Like, it's not about the money. It's not about the money. I didn't care about the money. I cared about answers. And I knew I wasn't going to get answers unless I had an attorney. I knew unless they felt threatened, they weren't going to give us what we wanted. So my thing is, people may have negative things to say about attorneys, but they have a job, they know their job, and they can do their job. Find one that can do their job. Because the thing is, all I wanted to know is what happened. I wanted to know why it happened. The only reason why I'm going to know why it happened is when we go to court. And the thing is, do I think he's going to testify and tell us? No, he's not. But I'm okay with that because we're going to get our day in court, and so will he. And that's what's important. So get an attorney. Don't talk to the police. Don't trust the police. The first thing they're going to do when the press is there is paint their narrative. That's what they do. They paint their narrative. They sit there and they will say things that are untrue because they want to prosecute your loved one in the public eye. They want you not to care. Exactly. The minute they're murdered, the news shows up, and immediately the police start painting their story, painting their narrative. They start putting out if that person has a record, if that person has if they got stopped by the police, if they spend any time in jail, it's going to be on the news. Within hours, it's going to be on the news. But all of those police brutalities, complaints against that officer will never hit the news. The discretion, they protect these officers by prosecuting the victims. And then they continue to paint that narrative. So when the news shows up to talk to that family needs to have their narrative. They need an attorney and they need to have their narrative. And they need to control that narrative. It's not easy to do, but you got to be persistent. You got to be persistent. Tawanda is controlling the narrative. They keep continuing to push the narrative about her brother, but she's controlling the narrative. And she's been doing this for 10 years. I mean, I don't think you guys understand. I've been doing this for 3 years, almost 4 years. I'm spent. I lost 6 months after my cousin died, my mom died. 7 months after that, my dad died. I have not stopped. I have not grieved. I have not done anything but this fight. If you're watching this, please protect yourself, protect your loved ones. Know your rights. Understand what's happening in your neighborhood and what's happening with politics. I hate politics. I know more about politics than I ever wanted to know in my entire life. But the thing is, I had to understand how they're fighting me in order to fight them. I had to learn their game so that I could up my game. That's the only way I could do it. You have to fight them the way they're fighting you. You got to turn their game around on them. There's no other way to fight the corruption that we deal with in America except to learn what they're doing and counter what they're doing. And the thing is, the minute you learn their game, the minute you turn it on them, they're going to change it. So be willing to continue to fight. It's going to be a long, hard fight. So protect yourself. Know your rights. Protect your children. Protect your family members. Don't trust the police. They're not our friends. I don't care if they come start a basketball league in your neighborhood. Ask them why. They're more likely they're profiling your kids. They're not trying to find any kind of recreational to keep your kids off the street. They're profiling your children at a young age.
Yes.
There is no reason why they should be doing basketball leagues and we have all these unsolved murders. Do not trust the police. Do not trust our justice system. Our justice system was not built for us. Our justice system is a corporation. It is built to fund private prisons. It is built to generate money. That is all our government is built for. Our government is a business, and every aspect of it is business. The judicial system is business. One arrest feeds a whole lot of people. So while you're putting these politicians in office, you need to understand some of them, very few, will get up there and do what we need them to do. The majority of them get in there, they see how it works, they see how they can benefit from it, and they fall right in line with that system. So I don't support them. You're never going to see me at a rally telling somebody to vote for someone. I'm never going to do that. Because the simple fact is that I can sit here and I can rally for you and I can put my name on it, and what do? You get in there and you do everything to harm me and my loved ones. I don't trust politicians. I don't think there is a such thing as a good politician. There isn't. They have to at some point sell a little bit of their soul to get them to do what they're doing. But we need to still hold them accountable. We need to hold them accountable because we're paying them. And that's the simple fact. The fact is this whole system is broken. This whole system is broken. It's going to take years to fix it. But in those years to fix it, we need to educate people. Because the only way to keep us safe is to educate us. We need to know our rights. When the cops show up, we need to know what we can say and what our rights are. We need to let them know. Because the one thing I know about cops, they don't know the law. They know what they told them they need to do. They know what they told them they need to say. But they don't know the law. That's why so many people show up to court and they drop them charges because they don't know the law. They know what their little bit of training told them to do. They train them, give them phrases that they can say to justify the shit that they do, and then they stick them out into the street to police us, to tell us to be law enforcement for us, when in fact they are not enforcing the law. People, they shouldn't even be called law enforcers because they're not enforcing the law at all.
They're slave catchers.
Yes, they are. That's all they are. So, my goal is to educate people. That's what I want to do. I want to educate people. I want people to be able to stand in front of an officer and tell him why he's wrong. Tell him why no, I'm not going to do this. Because you know the cop cannot stop me because I'm walking down the street. Are you going to apprehend me? Are you arresting me? Then leave me alone. They will take every inch you give them. Our entire government is run in fear. There's no love for these citizens. There is no love for us. It is simply fear. They put fear out in these streets for us. So we need to educate ourselves. We need to let them fear us. We need them to understand that we know what your job is. We know what you have the right to do. And this is not part of your rights. So you need to step up. We need to educate our kids. When them lights turn on behind us, we should not feel fear. We should not be scared. We should be able to roll down that window, and when they ask us, do you know why I pulled you over? That's not my job to tell you why you pulled me over. That's your job. And same because I'm black. I don't care if the officer is black, white, Chinese, I don't care what color you are. If you ask me why you pull me over, because I'm black. And you get nothing else from me. And then you explain to me why you pull me over. You swallow that and you tell me why you pull me over. I was leaving Baltimore, Maryland one night, going back to Virginia. I got pulled over twice. Twice. Going down. Twice. They told me the light above my license plate was out. And I said, don't tell your license plate. I said, do y'all not talk to each other? Because I just got pulled over about 5 miles up the road. I said, for the exact same thing. I said, do y'all not talk to me, or are you going to try to give me a ticket in every county through Maryland that I pass through? Just bullshit. It's constantly a fight with us just to be treated fairly. So, for everyone watching, if you have this problem, reach out to Tawanda. You have avenues. You have people who know what to do. You have people who are willing to help you, willing to fight with you, willing to stand with you. If you if you are brutalized by the police, if your loved one is brutalized by the police, reach out. Don't be scared. Don't be embarrassed. Don't be embarrassed. Don't let your anger stop you from doing what you need to do to get the answers you need, because they will use your anger against you. So don't let that anger stop you from getting the answers that you need. Don't trust the police. Don't trust your friends telling you to trust the police. Don't trust your family telling you to trust the police. Don't trust anyone telling you to trust the police. Trust the people out here who is fighting this fight, who know what you're about to go through, who know what you're about to deal with. And I need the people who survive police brutality. Don't be embarrassed. Speak out. Find people to help you. You do not deserve to be handcuffed, thrown on the ground, punched, kicked, drugged into a car. You don't deserve that. You don't deserve bruises. The mental harm that they cause people when they brutalize them. I feel worse for the survivors than the ones that we lost. I feel worse for the survivors because the thing is, my cousin's gone. He's in a better place now. He never has to be treated that way again. But these people relive this. They live their life in fear. I feel so bad for those people, and then they feel like theirs isn't as bad. Like a lot of people treat them like, oh, you lost your cousin, he died, but this person, it's not that bad because they're here. Do you know what it's like to live with that mental abuse? You have to live with that trauma that you endured. You have to see these cop cars pass by you and have fear. And these are grown men who have their pride and their ego, who don't want to feel that fear, but they do. And women, yes, women, children, it doesn't matter. But it's hard that people don't understand. It leaves a mark. It doesn't just stop when they're gone and stress is gone and it's over and they release you and say, I'm sorry. It doesn't fix anything. The damage is done. It's sort of like a Carfax. You wreck your car and a Carfax is stuck there for life. The damage is done. Everybody's going to see it. It's always there. You're going to try to sell your car? It's there. That's kind of like the trauma that we experience. It's always there. It's never going to go away. I don't care what you do. I don't care how much you paint over it. You put on a pretty face. You wake up every day. They are living with trauma, and there are millions of people living with the trauma. People don't understand there are millions of victims of police brutality. It ain't 10 people. It ain't just the people you see on the news. It's not just the Mike Browns. It's not them. It's millions of us out here of all ethnic groups have been brutalized by police. It's not just a black thing. It's not a brown thing. White people. Everybody. No one is immune to it. Speak up. The only way we are going to fix policing in America is if we speak up, we stick together, and we fight together, and we force them to change. That's it. We have to force the change. We need you to come out. We need you to speak up. Reach out to Tawanda. Reach out to West Wednesday. Reach out. Let them know. I don't care if it's something that you feel ain't that bad. You dealing with it. You just don't think it is. It still shouldn't happen to you. It still shouldn't happen to you. It's still unfair. And You deserve to get justified. You deserve justification. You deserve answers. You deserve why is this cop allowed to do that to you? Has he done this to other people? You deserve some form of justice in whatever that looks like to you. So if you are a victim and you survive police brutality, speak up. Speak up. It's that we need you. The people who did not survive, they need you. They need you to speak up. Thank you so much. Thank you. I love you guys.
There's a question online.
What's the
The
question?
question is, how can folks who are watching support you in your case?
We have a court date in Prince George's County courthouse. We have that court date September 28th. This is pertaining to evidence. Them wanting his attorneys wanting to throw out evidence and dismiss one of their expert witnesses. The trial is slated to start on November 27th of 2023. That is the trial date for now. And show up. Show up. A lot of injustice happens in empty courtrooms. We need to fill these courtrooms. I need people to stop asking what they did. Like, when people get killed, don't question what they did. Question why were they killed. Mm-hmm. Was there another method that you could have taken instead of deadly force? Deadly force should be the last thing, but it seems like when we have these cops step out of a car and shoot someone within 28 seconds, we're still asking, what did they do? They didn't do nothing to deserve to be shot after 28 seconds. Mm-hmm. Nothing. There's always alternatives. And if you're not trained to deal with that alternative, find somebody who is. Call in someone who can. Support families. Show up. These families are traumatized. Like, people don't understand. These families are so traumatized. I'm traumatized. I'm traumatized. I live with this every day. I'm traumatized. I'm grateful because God woke me up, and God said, Nikki, I cried. When my husband woke me up, I was crying, like I was bawling. And something said, Nikki, get up, get an attorney, and get it together. And that's what I did. And on the drive up to Maryland, I researched, and I found an attorney before I got up here, and I made that call. They knew exactly who I was. I pray for every day that God has helped me on this path. God has led me to the right people. God has led me to people like Tawana. God has led me to people who support me, people who knew more than me, people who knew better than me, people who said, don't trust the police. Don't talk to them alone. Don't trust them. You live in Virginia. Record every conversation when they call you, which I do. One party state. Record them. I found the right people. God put the right people in my path. And I feel blessed every day. And the thing is when you're fighting, he does that. He's going to bring you the people you need. He ain't going to tell you how long this fight is going to take. He ain't going to tell you what you have to deal with. But he's going to put the right people in your path. So fight. My thing is fight. Stand up, speak out, and fight. Get what you need out of this. All I wanted was this cop in jail. All I wanted was this cop prosecuted. That is my only goal. I have no other goal in this. And when that cop is prosecuted, I'm going to accept what the court gives him, and then I'm going to start grieving. That's my goal. I need to grieve for my cousin, my mom, and my dad. I need to grieve. But until this trial is over, I'm doing what I have to do. And that, although mentally not healthy, is what God is giving me the strength. Exactly. God gives you the strength to do what you gotta do. And you just have to do it. And the thing is, this is not a fight I wanted to be in. This is not something, and people keep telling me this is what you're supposed to be doing. Like, you're good at this. You think outside the box. You do this. You figure out ways to make them do the things you need them to do. You know what? I don't think this is what I'm supposed to do. I don't want to do this. This happened to me. But I'm here now. I'm here. I'm hearing these families. Did I cry a lot? Like, I've never been a crybaby. I cry a lot. There are so many people in pain. There are so many people in pain, and I want to help them. I want to help them. So this is my fight now. This is my fight. They knew who they killed. Let me tell you something. I tell people every time, my cousin did not die in vain. My cousin died for a reason. My cousin died because that man needed to be off the street. That my cousin was not the first man he murdered. My cousin in 10 years. My cousin was not the first person he brutalized. He has a string of victims. But they knew killing Boo Boo meant I was coming after them. God knew there was a need. God knew there was a need. And God knew when my cousin died, I was not letting it go. He put my cousin there because he knew there was a need. He knew I was gonna make sure that this man paid for what he did to my cousin, no matter what. There's nothing that's gonna stop me, and he knew that. My cousin did not die in vain. I don't. You don't have to pity my cousin. My cousin was loved. My cousin was loved, and it was his time to go. And the thing is he didn't die in some random car accident. He died to save lives. He died to save lives. My cousin get that man off the street, saved lives. If that man would have still been on the street, more people would be dead today if that man was still on the street. More people would have been beaten. More people would have been brutalized. My cousin did not die in vain. William Green died for a reason. And the thing is my hope is there's no more William Greens, especially in PG County. My hope is there's no more William Greens across this nation. There's so many people who don't know William Green. They've never heard of my cousin. But my thing is my cousin's death changed a lot in PG County. My cousin's death scared them. And the thing is the only reason why my cousin's death scared them is because I am not going to let them get away with shit. Nothing. You will get away with nothing. I will watch you. I will show up. I'm going to have this conversation. And I'm going to tell you what I had to tell Aisha Brainboy. There is no way God put me here, you here, these prosecutors here, without the intention of making sure this man never does this again. I said, I know why God brought me here. I know why God put me here. So that means he made sure everybody was in place to make sure this man was off the street. So you're here for a reason. Do your fucking job. So September 28th, November 27th, PG County Courthouse. Please show up. Please support. We just need people in these seats. And if there's other families out here who need people in seats, reach out to Tawanda. Let's get people in these seats. Because the thing is injustice happens in empty courtrooms. If that courtroom is empty, if they don't have family, if they don't have support, injustice happens in empty courtrooms every day across America. Support people. Be there. Sit there. I don't care if you have a day off, go sit in court. Support someone who's there. Just be there and watch what they're doing. Thank you. Again, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. That's my warrior queen sister, y'all. Thank you so much. And also I wanted to give a big shout out to my warrior brother Joe, who's over there getting interviewed. But definitely want to talk about Joe for a minute. Joe, like literally when I met him, I thought he was like a news reporter or whatever. And I think at the time, I think he was working for City Paper, but all I saw was Joe jumping over top of police cars and just like getting real images. And that's what I want to talk about tonight on how the media, like literally sets our family up. Just like Nikki said, and her, this is all to me, the victims change, but the game stays the same. Like literally they said he was gunned down with handcuffs, 6 times. William Green, and they said it was a struggle. My brother was beat to death, pepper spray, tased, murdered, right? And he said it was a struggle between him and the police. There was no struggle. The only thing our loved ones, my brother, her cousin, was struggling for was air to breathe. For another day, was struggling to survive a heinous case, but no one could have survived. So that's why it's important that when we have media, and if they take our loved one's story and use our pain for their game, and that's what they do. They're not out there to cover. But the thing I love about Joe, he has always been true. Like literally, he's been jumping over top of cars, doing everything, reporting. And the thing that I love most about him was he actually got one of the first witnesses that I actually saw on the news when everything happened. Literally, I'll never forget. She had on pink tennis shoes because I guess she didn't want her face to be shown, and she said she had a small video of my brother, but he actually got her statement uncut. And not only did he, when I cut, he has a book coming out. And that's all. He allowed me to write an essay about what happened in the past 10 years. How did it feel? Was things transparent? Was things biased? And all of that. So I just want to give him an opportunity, Joe. So I'm gonna give him a few minutes. Hopefully he'll come over and join the conversation before I start talking about the Doug and Cody show. Because that's been bothering me. Because I can tell you since every time I hear my sister talk about how her loved one was murdered, that breaks my heart because no one loved one deserves to be murdered. And the fact we had a cop watching us from over there, watching innocent people stand up for accountability is ridiculous. But we couldn't get one cop car in Brooklyn homes when all the massacre, the brutal murders happened of two beautiful people, two souls snatched, and nobody still has been held accountable. They need to arrest Worley for that because they failed us. They failed Brooklyn Park, and literally to have me see the mother yesterday at a town hall meeting that broke my heart. Because and it's like God does everything for a reason. Because at Warley's first town hall meeting, I started talking about how he found us at Brooklyn Park, and I said, "Now the beautiful, precious young lady that had a whole promise of life right there snatched away, and another young man life snatched away." I talked about that, and I even brought up the issue, and I talked about Nicholas Lee, who was killed, murdered inside of the market, the supermarket that our mayor mother works at, by a reckless white racist security guard. And he hasn't even been charged. This is what we have to deal with. These are our realities. And then literally for the meeting to close, to have the mother actually come out there and talk about it. And then the interesting part, and that's why I say the media plays a big role in everything. They purposely held back that report that's now all over social media. Everybody want to talk about it. When they had that report in their hand, we could have had that yesterday. We could have called them out again on it. They purposely hid that. That was purposely done. That wasn't no mistake. That wasn't a woe woman. They held it off so that way he could sit there and protect. Like, if I thought that I had, like, maybe an ounce of respect for Wally, I lost it all when I saw him lie inside of a church. I saw him lie at the school of the blind. Like, even the blind people probably could see through his foolishness, and I'm not even making a joke. I'm being really transparent and honest. Because I can imagine somebody blind just hearing his voice, hearing the lies. Just because you can't, see, you can still detect a lie from a lie. So I can imagine what they went through hearing the lies. I can imagine the first church we went through, what people felt, the lies. And then literally I had someone from the West Coalition to really almost kind of give him the benefit of the doubt to see what he was going to say. To say, have you ever seen any corruption happen and the whole entire time that you work, like literally he said he's been working over 20 years, and for this man to sit up there and lie with a straight face in a church, shame on you, Wally. You do not deserve to serve. And for you to say you never saw that, you lied. Because guess what? The week before that, I asked you the same day they cut my damn tire and tried to make it so that I couldn't make it to that meeting. I asked you, what was that scene like when you went there? Would you admit it that you didn't know if you showed up a minute after my brother was murdered or hours later, but you showed up at that scene where my brother's dead body was there? You saw Ruiz, Chapman, and all of those 17 staking animals, including David Keller Lewis from Morgan State, huddled around, as witnesses told me, like they were doing a football play. Like they were planning their next move, whispering and saying, "Oh shit, this this happened, that happened. How the hell we gonna get out of this? Witnesses told me that. So for you to stand there, you want to say that bullshit about, oh, good cops. I'm a good cop. Who deemed you to be a good cop? Show me one fucking person. Excuse my language. Show me one fucking person that tell us that you're a good fucking cop. No one told us that. You told us that bullshit. I'm beyond pissed. Because that's the only time I get a potty mouth. I'm hurt, I'm pissed, and I'm over it. And I didn't want to cuss at the church, so I held all that in. But I want to see one person tell me, oh, Wooly was a good cop. Not somebody that you paid off, not somebody the Fox 40 lies sent to lie. One real person that you saved their life when you reported something that you saw with all the corruption that's going on still to this day. It didn't end. It's still going on. So you couldn't even be honest. So that was your last chance with me, sir. You don't get that many, but that was your last opportunity. Because you had me at first like, giving you a little bit of benefit of the doubt. Because you're the first commissioner that ever said, I'm sorry for your loss. I guess that was a freaking lie. You ain't sorry for my loss. Because if you were sorry, as a commander, you would stand up and you would say, you know what? I saw dirt. But moving forward, dirt will not happen under my tenure. I'm going to make sure we hold these officers accountable. And if anything you need in your investigation, if anything that I can provide, because I got a lot of dirt, but I'm just waiting for that moment, then I can share it. That's a good commissioner. You're nothing like that. You talking about them serving and protect? I asked you that question, and the news cut me off. Like as if I seen you that that whole meeting was the Doug and Pony show. But before I go on, is Joe gonna come over so we can laptop for a minute? Joe, can you come over please? I'm sorry guys, I'm scrambling, I'm all over the place, but I got real emotional when my beautiful sister was talking about her cousin being murdered. We don't deserve to have our loved ones murdered. But again, I want to talk to Joe. Joe, can you come up, please? I just want to, first of all, I want to tell you personally, thank you. Like, seriously, like, no, thank you. Yes, not enough. But thank you for all your hard work, your dedication, your love, like being transparent. Because people that deal with media, they're not that. Like, they play both sides, like, when it's convenient for them. But you have never, ever played me. You have never, ever played Freddie Gray. You always been real. They always quoted you in the city paper. And I'm mad that the city paper stopped. Because the city paper was like the realest news that I ever read. Next to Afro, like real talk. But I just wanted to let you know, thank you. And I'm so excited about your book. And I just want you to share whatever you want to share right now. Mic check.
Mic check.
Okay, mic check. You put me on the spot. I prefer to be on the other side of the camera. But I know it's been something, and it's very important to get these videos and to get these photographs so people can see and keep this story going and going and going until something happens. You know, so there's some kind of accountability for what happened with and the other victims in the city. And that's what I do. I'm just trying to keep, just one person trying to keep a spotlight on it through using photography. So thank you.
Thank you. And again, with his photography, his pictures speak. Because I never saw black and white pictures that just literally touch. Like they say, pictures speak more valuable than words. This art is beautiful. Like literally, you don't even have to have words with it, but you can actually. And the reason why I love pictures, I want to talk about that for a moment. The reason why I love artworks and pictures because my brother Tyrone West was an aspiring, upcoming artist. He could draw anybody. All the family wanted was my brother's dream to come true. We wanted to put him in an art studio and let him capture, just like he captured with his video, where my brother could actually draw anybody he seen. He could literally just draw it. And he told me artwork was something that, like, we can, like, if me and you both looked at a portrait, this is from the words of my brother Tyrone West. If two people are looking at a portrait, both of them are not going to see the same things. They're going to see the reflections of their life or what they want to see in that porch, and they're going to pull out all the beautiful things they like, and they might pull out some sad things, but it's all in what their eyes are seeing and how beautiful that picture is. And that's why when I see Joe's work, it reminds me of my brother Tyrone Westward. So I just wanted to share that real quick, and I just wanted to give another big shout out to Joe, my sister Nikki. Keep on fighting, Queen. And I'm gonna let you know I'm definitely tomorrow. I'm taking off for November the 27th. If it changes, let me know. But I'm putting it in the book as soon as I walk through the door tomorrow. Can't be there for the September 20th because I'll be out town at a conference. Police brutality victims of police brutality families. But just literally let you know I love you. And anybody can be William Green. Anybody can be Tyrone West. But real quick, I want to bring my sister up, or anybody up that wanted to talk about the Doug and Pony show last night. Mic check.
Mic check.
I came here tonight like with something in mind that I wanted to say, but then Nikki just like it's, I don't know, like I have like 500 things that I want to say because she was talking about living victims. And as you all know, I'm a living victim, as is my son and my ex. And my son is still in therapy, and this happened 8 years ago. So what they both are expressing is the collateral damage that happens. You wind up with CPTSD, like not even regular PTSD. You wind up with complex post-traumatic stress disorder because it isn't just the cop cars on the streets. It's someone weird outside your house, your mail being tampered with, finding nails in your tires. You know, all of these things, it's just collateral damage that you walk away with. And then when these assholes were leaving my house that night, they literally said, "Sorry for the inconvenience." The inconvenience of performing a home invasion on my house, holding my 12-year-old son at gunpoint, 4 grown men holding this high child at gunpoint in my basement, handcuffing. Well, one of them was Jorge Bernardes Ruiz. Another was Corey Jennings, who was also on her brother's scene. And the one who facilitated the whole thing was a detective, Reggie Parker, who was also on her brother's scene. So 3 of the officers from Tyrone's scene were on my scene. No, I didn't bring that. I didn't bring that one. So anyway, so that's what they were discussing is the collateral damage. And then, last night, I've been going to all of the meetings, and I've been honing my question down to be more succinct because I just keep asking, what are you going to do about police brutality? And he keeps passing the buck. Oh, it's the AG. Oh, it's the state's attorney. Oh, it's internal affairs. Told him to his face the first meeting, internal affairs is a joke. We told him about the connection between the state's attorneys and the officers like that we're very well aware of. And for those of you who don't know, the state's attorney literally assigns an investigator to the investigators, and they basically guide them through the investigation of a police-involved death. They're there side by side, working together. So pretty much like the state's attorney will say, these are the questions you need to ask witnesses. These are the witnesses we found out about. You need to go talk to them. So they're basically like giving them cheat sheets. So, my whole thing is I feel that the state's attorneys help them cover up. And then, this asshole judge that signed the bogus warrant, like, if you read this warrant, it's like so laughable. It's like a 3rd grader wrote it. Like, who is this judge? You know, is this one of those like police friendly judges that is just like, yeah, here, go do whatever the hell you want, like whatever. Not even reading into the details and saying this doesn't even make any sense. You know, so yeah, Worley just lying through his teeth. We have him on video for 3 of the meetings. Like we live stream the videos, and all you got to do is just watch how he answers people's questions in one meeting, and then in the next meeting, he says something completely different about the same exact topic. So he's just saying he has a script that he follows because he says the same exact thing when the meeting starts, and then he has a script when people ask about police brutality because he literally verbatim says the same thing, except when you press him, he makes up something else. So my thing last night is I asked him, like, on my 4th question, you know, when I was honing it down, trying to be more specific, I was like, we already know the cases that the Attorney General handles. We already know that. You know, we've already been through the internal affairs thing. Give me 1 or 2 examples of what you plan to do as commissioner about police brutality in police brutality cases. And he didn't do that. He has not once answered my question, and then he accuses me of not liking his answer. So I told him last night, no, I don't like your answer because you're not answering me. And even people in the audience, he didn't even answer you. He doesn't answer her. He doesn't answer Dan. Like, you know, he doesn't answer anybody that goes up there talking about these issues. So he's just going to remain like he was been the whole 25 years and turn a blind eye and deaf ear to police brutality. You know, he claims the police department has changed over the last 4 or 5 years. Where? Has any of you out here witnessed any positive changes in the police force? They're still killing people. They killed Tyree Moorhead in broad daylight, shot him down in the middle of the street.
Down there in Rochester.
They killed Donnell Rochester, you know, and then, I mean, the Attorney General said it was overkill. Like, they did not need to be shooting at his vehicle. They jumped in front of his vehicle. He was trying to get out of there. He was terrified. You know, like, they keep killing people. They keep killing people, and they keep covering up. And now I want to talk about the media coverage, because last night and the meeting last week, I literally watched WBAL pack up their camera and the reporter leave at 6:30. The meeting started at 6:15. It ran until 8 o'clock, and they packed up. And then they go on at 11 o'clock and they report this little thing. She's standing outside downtown police station, and she's talking about what she quote unquote witnessed at the meeting, and she wasn't even fucking there after 6:30. I was standing right behind her in her chair, was watching the notes that she was taking. And as soon as people started asking questions, he undid his camera, put it in his bag, and she got up and left, which is why they had no footage of any of the good questions.
Mm-hmm.
And then let's go to Channel 13. Splicing what she said. What she asked Worley was, what is your job as police officers? Because I can literally shoot somebody down. Somebody could be shot down right in front, and you don't even have the duty to do anything. You won't even do anything. You don't have to. So what is your job as police officers? And they cut that down to make it seem like she was just talking about random violence. Not random violence done in front of a police officer, and a police officer won't do anything about it, like AKA Brooklyn Holmes. But they minced up her words, just like Fox 45 did, trying to get her killed. So the media is like part of this circus of corruption. It's a circus of corruption. They are fed the narrative, and even 10 years later, when they talk about the 10-year anniversary of Tyrone West, they still regurgitate some of that false narrative. They still regurgitate it, even though there is no proof that Tyrone had drugs. No proof. In fact, one of the dumbass cops during deposition said, I heard about drugs on the news. Well, guess what? He was one of the ones that was supposedly reporting that he saw a bulge in his back or some bullshit like that. So if he heard it on the freaking news, then what is it that he was giving in his statements to the investigators?
Mm-hmm.
So this is all the corruption, all, like you say, the dog and pony show. And Worley is aware of all of it. I don't remember if it was Darrell Harris's story or Abdul Salam's story, but when they went in to complain about Chapman and Ruiz, they were at the district. Okay, hold on one second. We're bringing to sirens tonight. I respect firemen, so, but you never know who sent them. Like those medics that came to the false assault call a couple of weeks ago. Lost my train of thought.
You were talking about Darrell Harris and Abdul Salam.
Oh, I don't remember which one of them it was, but when they went to complain that they were assaulted and harassed, cops in the parking lot were like, again? Because in 2013, they were running amok that whole summer. They were the same guys. Jorge Bernardes Ruiz, Nicholas David Chapman, Nathan Ulmer, Brian Moyero, running around, harassing people, just randomly stopping black men, driving while black, and assaulting them to the tune of millions of dollars paid in civil cases. So, Worley, you didn't know about that?
Mm-hmm.
They were your underlings. The random cops in the freaking parking lot knew about them. Knew they were running amok, harassing and assaulting people, but Worley, you didn't know? Really? You're the boss. You were the freaking boss, and you don't know what they're doing? Come on. But you never witnessed corruption. Never witnessed it. So that's why you say you could turn a blind eye and not do anything about it, because you didn't see it with your own eyes. When person after person after person after person is coming up to the freaking district telling you these same three pigs are doing this shit.
Mm-hmm.
But you didn't witness anything, so you're not going to do anything about it. This is why you don't deserve to serve. So yeah, no love for the freaking media at this point. Like, I'm losing like major respect for them. And yeah, Worley does not deserve to serve. That's like all I gotta say. I had like a whole bunch of stuff welled up in me from when you were talking. So mic check.
Mic check.
So just in time interest, I want to ask real quick, do anybody else want to say anything, because we're about to wrap it up? All right. Okay. Mic check.
Mic check.
No, it's just, I've noticed this at every one of these, and actually it's increasing at each town hall meeting, the amount of police officers,
Mm-hmm.
particularly whites,
In the back.
white shirts that are showing up. They want this guy so bad because it's status quo. It's business as usual.
Yep.
These guys want Worley in office because they could do the same freewheeling bullshit that they've been doing for all these years. It didn't hit me until last night. I was like, damn, there's not even a place for fucking people to sit because these dudes are there. Not doing their job, obviously. Sitting for 2.5 hours for some parade, parading him around. Anyway. Oh, yeah. From all over the place. Sorry, that was just one thought.
No, thank you. That was a good thought. It makes no sense. It kind of reminds us when we go to get the LOB repealed. You see all the white shirts, all the cops are all over. They come all over to support. It's foolishness. It's crazy. They support, like I said earlier, It's them over there and us over here. And right now, we're in a time right now, we can no longer play both sides. It was one point in time that you could actually play sides like, oh, I agree with this party over here a little bit, and I see what's going on. No, right now, we are real times. Real times where right now, every day and night, the media makes our babies look like they are demons running wild. They went from squeegee kids to always talking about the babies, the carjacking, the this and that, and they putting all of our babies in one bubble. All of our babies. So when you got people that's already in fear of the city, they run as soon as they see a teenager, especially a black one, a brown one, they start fearing. They start acting weird and strange. That's sad and disgusting to me. And I give a big shout out to my sister Jill Carter. I call her the People's Champ because she to me seems like the only one in Annapolis that's lobbying for our babies. So I give that queen a big shout out. A big shout out. Everybody was like, it's disgusting, it's horrible. That's what they do to us. And then they wonder why, and that's all they keep showing is the babies getting killed every night, the babies committing crimes. But the crazy part, with all these killer cops, we read y'all a whole long list. They don't dare talk about their corruption. You never hear about it. They make it seem like it's isolated. They make it seem like it's a very few apples. What about our very few apples when teenagers are committing crime? What about the very few apples that commit crime? So y'all sinking them in one barrel. Sink them killer cops in one barrel. Do that. So we're going to move on. So I'd like to take 1 minute, guys, and I thank everybody. A big shout out to my sister Nikki. Thank you so much. And we will be helping fight for accountability as much as we can because William Green did not deserve to be brutally executed. And I just thank you for being his voice. I thank you for touching the audience and everybody. I thank my brother Joe tonight for actually coming out. You know, it's all about his book, and he actually brought the media here to share West Wind. So I thank him. I thank the media guy that came out tonight that's actually filming us. Thank you guys so much. Definitely appreciate you. So at this moment, we're going to take 1 minute, guys, 1 minute to stand in solidarity for all of the stolen lives. We're going to read a list from the the community violence list of unsolved homicides, and we're going to read a list of police brutality victims. So, but they're all synced together, hand in hand. Don't let them fool you. Because guess what? We care about all lives, and at the end of the day, they are murdering all of us. So it don't matter. I see every time I get in my car, I don't want to get killed by a stray bullet, God forbid, or by a killer cop. Like you don't know who beat it, like just beat up, brutalized. Like it's just too much of trauma. So let's just take a minute because even though they seem like there's a name, there's a family attached to this name. Me and Nikki thought we would never ever be a part of a family that we didn't want to be a part of. Adina didn't never want to be a part of a family that she didn't want to be a part of us. None of us asked for this. So let's take 1 minute starting now. Mic check.
Mic check.
Thank you guys so much. So right now I want to read this disclaimer, and it's from the West Coalition. It is the mission of the West Coalition to work for accountability for Tyrone West and for all the victims of police brutality. We believe that there is a connection between police brutality and community violence. Police can de-escalate strategies to diffuse situations without necessarily using force. And we encourage community members to resolve disputes without violence. We care deeply about those families impacted by police brutality and community violence. We seek to uplift the names of their loved ones from a place of respect and care. We obtained the list of names of those shot and killed by police and those lost to community violence from national and local news
outlets. We know that there are no means of exhaust. So we know by no means exhaustless. And that gun violence isn't the only way that people are murdered. We do not obtain detailed information about the circumstances surrounding each of these deaths or the people who died. By reading these names, we are not condoning violence behavior or any part of anyone involved in any situation. So at this time, I want to call my brother Brian up. Mic check.
Mic check.
Thank you, brother Brian.
I can't just be out here.
Before I read the list of people from Baltimore who died this past week, I think we need to remember that on Saturday in Jacksonville, Florida, a man painted swastikas on an AR-15 style rifle and went into a Dollar General store and killed 3 people because they were black. And so many, if not most of the deaths we read about here are attributed to white supremacy. But when it wears its colors that boldly, I think we need to say what has happened. So, as always, I hope you'll echo these names back. Angela Michelle Carr, 52.
Angela Michelle Carr, 52.
Arnold Joseph Laguerre, June 29.
Arnold Joseph.
Gerald Deshaun Gallion, 19.
Gerald Deshaun Gallion.
Thank you for that. And gotta get my list straight. Here we are. And now for in Baltimore, this week, beginning on the 17th, Anthony Williams.
Anthony Williams.
Daryl L. Benner.
Daryl L.
Ricardo Burley.
Ricardo Burley.
Devontae Whitener.
Devontae Whitner.
Shay Davis.
Shay Davis.
Thank you.
Now I'm going to bring my sister up to read the votes brutality list. Mic check.
Mic check.
Okay, so this picks up where we left off on August 22nd. In Canton, Mississippi, 24-year-old Ladarius Johnson.
Ladarius Johnson.
On the 23rd of August, in Aurora, Colorado, which has a very high rate of police brutality. An unidentified male. Self-blaster killer cops, Ashe. Charlotte, North Carolina, on the 25th. An unidentified male. Self-blaster killer cops, Ashe. On the 27th, Jersey City, New Jersey, where I was born. 52-year-old Andrew Washington.
Andrew Washington.
August 28th, in Lehigh Acres, Florida, Thomas Carney.
Thomas Carney.
That's all, thank you.
Again, I want to thank you, and I want to make a special announcement before we kind of wrap up. Now, as you guys know, my tire was literally slashed. It wasn't like I didn't ride over a speed bump. I didn't have a nail. It was slashed. And literally, thank goodness for like people donating to the tire fund because it's rough. Like I'm a single mother, getting my children ready for school, things of that nature. This is ridiculous when you gotta go dig in your pocketbook to have a new tire that costs hundreds of dollars. Like I got a Mercedes Benz, and literally I can't buy a used tire for the make and model of my car. So literally starting off, I could pay almost $400 that could have went to my children for a tire. Ridiculous. But the reason why I'm talking about this Our brother Ben, who has been live streaming, we talked about the meetings with Warley. Our brother Ben has been live streaming each and every last meeting. And tonight, his tire was slashed. Slashed. And you right over now, Bob beat up, none of that. His tire was slashed. So make the connection like they are actually targeting us. I know it sounds crazy, and oh my gosh, who would do that? Oh my gosh. Whenever you have those oh my gosh moments, think about the Gun Trace Task Force. Think about how they were setting young, innocent people up, men, women, children, with guns, with drugs, to fit their narrative, to have them arrested. Think about how they were anal searching, men on the street. Think about all that. Think about how they were even murdering people. Think about Tyrone West. Please think about William Green. Think about all the stolen lives. Darnell, Rochester, Timothy Flemings, all the stolen lives. But no matter what tire you cut, and I'm going to end on this note, you can cut our tires. You can do whatever you want, but you will never cut off our movement. You will never cut off us fighting for accountability. I don't give a damn if I gotta walk here. I don't give a damn if I gotta crawl here. I am going to be here. We are here to say we're more than hashtags and body bags. We're more than being 6 feet in the dirt and pictures and buttons on t-shirts. And I don't care who you send to distract us, to talk while we live streaming. It doesn't matter. We're going to keep on doing what we're doing. And that's fighting for accountability. We won't stop. We can't stop until killer cops are in cell blocks. Mic check. See you guys next week.
Mic
check.
check.
Live to love to live. I love you all. Mic check.
Mic check.